Good morning, my fellow country people. For all places una dey, the one wey dey at home and abroad, the one wey dey for IDP camp, the one wey dey na refugee them, the one wey dey for dungeon for La Republique and for inside Ambazonia. From the Savannah State to the Atlantic State, I bring una revolutionary greetings. Na me, Capo Daniel, the Deputy Defense Chief of the Ambazonian Defense Forces and the spokesman of the Ambazonian Governing Council. Na me, I don come again once more with a daily podcast. This one will be entitled The Liberation Tax. I don get plenty inquiry them, both from our citizens, especially as we establish the ATLA, the Ambazonian Liberation Transitional Authority for ground. When I hear how the president of the Ambazonian Governing Council either announced the establishment of a proper judiciary for under this system for inside ground zero, we go make sure say we get a justice system other than that we would use them for this time we been at the traditional system. This system it go incorporate our traditional and our customary law together with best practices them for the Ambazonian law as they be the practice them under our bar association, knowing very well so we go get a limited access for lawyers and things like that. But the circumstances then way the court then go to operate, the type of case the way they go to handle them, it could be on a case by case and a circumstances by circumstances basis. But today I want to focus this podcast about the liberation tax. Now liberation tax, now tax system would then bring them in place out of deep studies for ground zero and how our operation did go. Now thing way now one stone way they shoot plenty bed them. I will come for can explain una plenty, me una understand very well. Now a social responsibility for any company or individual where they carry out economic activity for donate some part of a benefit them. It can go back for that community where they operate economic activity. Now either way any company where they exploit resources, they need for pay some specific tax for the place where they. Any company where they work, they make money, it enjoy from the public, and as well it need for donate also for the creation of public services and where it go and name it will create a better condition for many businesses than for thrive. The issue where it then happen for liberation tax not be only for raise funds for our soldier them, but it also help for bring law and order, respect, mutual respect, and for help for fight kidnapping for ransom. Because the soldier them, the citizen volunteer of Ambazonians, when they don't pick up weapons, they no fit return back for their homes for civilian life. They must be day by day for fight the enemy and for take measure them for stay safe 24 hours. So they need for chop, they need for take care of their barracks, they need for buy bullets, they need for buy guns for defend themselves and for defend the country. So if we get a system where our people them, our soldier them, they be forced because of lack of resources for go do excesses, sometimes for whole even our poorest of our poor, who them take money, who power for drag them, disrespect they go start behave even like La Republique. Especially forces the way they under any leadership, any political leadership way it is supervise them, it get competence enough for strengthening their behavior and for put a code of conduct where they fit enforce and for make sure say me all soldiers them be in line. Because for the ADF, we don't design them for way they want start the force, they be done bring training for train leadership them and empower them for way it get a strong base, a strong hand where they fit put law and order. Because army where you no get law and order, it go turn for be like a cartel, it go turn for be a bunch of thieves where then system go start begin affect our own society where it be a potential for destroy liberty where we fight for in the favor of slavery with La Republique. So nothing way would engage our community and all Ambazonians them with such communications because now a collective struggle will get a unique liberation war will be collective in nature. Yes, now true say the best way for organize now for create organization, but we'll get multiple organizations so now a collective struggle. Now why that would put some of these things them outside. So which way then they happen? We so that they be for some time for whole our mommy, papa, them, auntie, them, small business owner the way they didn't have a survival level. Where this type of businesses will not need for collect tax for them. Liberation tax it will help those soldier them for focus on areas in way they don't pass survival level. Company the way they would not make a cap of over $1 million for certain cases them profit and stuff like that, or company the way they deal with some big contracts them. The challenge is where it don't always been as say if soldier them they start telling say okay, make them leave our papa, mommy, auntie them, buy them selling them in peace. Then me them begin expect for get contribution from this big economic operator them. Imagine if one motor he come out for go do some community job, for some community essential project, for instance Oko, he come up for Bamenda, he want pass go reach Oko. Now how many barracks the way he go pass to them? He passed, he want reach for Nkwen, then Holam, they ask 1 million. He come out, he want reach on Bengui, or for Bambui, then Holam, they ask 500,000. He go for the next barracks, then Holam, they ask 250,000. He go for the next barracks, then Holam, they ask 50,000. By the time he want take one motor go and come, they go see say the money where they don't burn on the road, he pass the one for buy that motor. He better say me they abandon those projects where it be essential for we, and then just shit on them, me they not do the work. Then all we go suffer. So it be important make all group then get leadership. Me then get one centralized leadership. Like how we for ADF will get one command structure. With the point and our supreme commander this for the ADF. For the various states them. Now our overall commander this for this state. Now the overall commander this for this state. This centralized system it make it get transparency. Because what we would not experience and for this struggle and say, even when you get an undeclared or unstructured tax system where it not even they exist even before one put order, say more canalize and put on for paper, may be clear, may be transparent. Soldier then the way they already take money for some of these business people, and it then become a vulnerability because it no get transparency, it no get law and order. So for example, one company day where they was some area where it be illegal. A say soldier they be desperate for get money no matter the circumstances because survivor it trump any other calculation. They go start even Brazil go start give them money. They go start allow even things the way be symbolic for our liberation struggle. They go start chop money for place the way no correct. Number two thing, company it go come. The major general way they for that area. When I get plenty picking, I get biggest responsibility. He go come begin ask money way big. Then the company go look and say other because if you be commanders, generals, so you know strong pass all your other commander them. The small commander go come, they will go look the one way get power. Then talk say you know say they una big man they so it over worry, it carry money they give himself. They can't talk him because first of all, there is no system in place to regulate. So he takes the money, he does not talk about it, and there is always temptation when money is involved. That's why transparency and accountability is important to institutionalize everything we are doing for our state. They will take the smaller general, the smaller commander under him, give him small money. Tomorrow they will tell him, take away that leader who was there and replace him. We'll be paying you this correct money. Everything will be fine. Sometimes they will even help. La Republic will come in there. They will start giving you tips. Tell you can even take this roadblock here. You cover, you control here. La Republic is controlling in this side. Will not disturb you. These are things we have had on ground zero. Some roadblocks that are allowed by the occupier, which is a shame for us. There were all of these things going on. Soldiers killing their commanders because they are being influenced by economic interests. Soldiers forced to go and refuse orders to pass in their areas because they are protecting economic interests. Soldiers using Ambazonian soldiers as buffer by Cameroon military in the disguise of economic interests. The enemy have been exploiting this loophole for years. That is why we canonize our liberation tax system and we ask every other group to adopt it or at least consider the principles behind it and take their own measures to do the same. Why is it good to harmonize things in a centralized command? Instead of one company driving from Bamenda to Oko and paying all this money, which is unsustainable, when it is unsustainable for them to survive, they will start to do bad things. Some will even seek help for the enemy. Instead, we have a centralized command where the general, two places, the place where that company is based and areas where they have economic activities. their tax from those two tap or for one of those. And the overall commander in that particular area is in charge on how the proceeds are distributed according to the barracks in that particular area, irrespective of their affiliation. So that is a very good thing that everybody will adopt, and it saves everybody. And every time any money is coming there, it will be transparent, because when that vehicle will be passing through different areas, we will tell the general in that area that this company have already paid their liberation tax. You don't have to disturb him. You will not be arresting or just seizing people's vehicles on the road because they are passing through an area where you control to take money from them, even when they don't have economic activities in that particular area. It has led to the harassment of our people, dragging people into forests, humiliating them, and making our people to reminisce what La Republique have been doing for them all these years, and sometimes even questioning whether our own Ambazonian heroes are doing the same things that the enemy was doing for them. We have used this wisdom to help to bring order and to bring sanity and to stop effort, the exploitation that was being used by La Republique, because the enemy have good resources more than us. They study this thing and they have a better ground game, and they know how to exploit this thing. My country people, soldiers have died because of this thing. Even in Bamenda, I will never forget Commander Scopio, which we used to fight this thing with Brassaris, and how the Cameroon occupation terrorist military used Brassaris to destroy whatever thing we are building in Bamenda. Today is the same thing all across Ambazonia. You find soldiers say they want to be free, they want to be independent, they don't want to be under political leadership, simply because economic interests have override their sense of patriotism. And sometimes people who are not aware, they are supporting this type of idea because they don't know what is going on. Soldiers in areas with high economic activity, they want to become on their own because they have their transactions there. They are trying to protect those transactions. Of course, they are heroes because their main objective is to fight against the enemy. But the enemy have devised measures where they exploit these economic interests of those soldiers to moderate their attacks, to infiltrate their ranks, even to neutralize their activity. But one day, those soldiers, and one day their eye they always come up and they will shake their skin and they will stand and they will give pride for the people. The enemy cannot sustain their effort in these ranks because we are there to educate our people and open their eyes. So all the commanders and generals on the ground, all our citizens together, all Ambazonians, be aware of these things so that you understand the policy of the Ambazonian Governing Council. And you also propose to this soldier, what these people are saying is true. It makes sense. You should adopt it. And it will also open the eye of our people to ask questions. Why do you think a soldier wants to just be by themselves? Some of the people who are even in the diaspora, in abroad, trying to help these soldiers, and they are saying that they are their representative. They don't even have control of these soldiers. The soldiers just want them to be there to give them that legitimacy, sometimes because they have been override by the economic interests. You have people in the diaspora abroad claiming to be representative of groups, but they are just puppets being used by soldiers on the ground. Make no mistake, the corruption of the soul of an Ambazonian man, this wicked black man syndrome, does not exist only with Ambazonians who are abroad. Even in ground zero, it is even worse. Soldiers killing their brothers, slaughtering each other over economic control. Soldiers, some of them even pretending when they look at some groups that are set up just to tap legitimacy from groups on the ground, and they will sell those legitimacy to those groups. Those groups will be standing abroad there defending soldiers that they are theirs, they have legitimacy, while those soldiers have been compromised to be focusing mainly on their economic advantages. Sometimes money have overflown in certain areas where soldiers will abandon their barracks and go and be setting up shops even in the enemy's own country. We have even seen soldiers who have even betrayed some of their other soldiers who have abandoned them and go and open businesses, and then they betray them to the enemy. They arrest them, they work with the enemy because the enemy will tell you, your brother betrayed you. Also betray your brother before you realize they are coming into your camp, identifying you, taking you away, and we start to say blacklegism, which is only our greed. We know human beings are greedy, and the law and order, accountability is there to moderate and restrain human ego, human greed for the common good of all Ambazonians. So we are encouraging all Ambazonians to understand both the social responsibility of economic actors of significance and the need to avoid exploiting or even demanding from business people and Bayam-Selams who are just surviving, and the need for us to bring a code of conduct that gives respect back to our people and people who do Bayam-Selam, who travel with vehicle across the territory to Biafra, use the Trans-Saharan Highway Road to supply our markets with goods and services. Small shop owners, small market people, where did they open for market day, one day did they go carry a business for farm for go sell them, cocoa buyers, farm workers. We need to protect them because they are essential for our nation, our community, and even for the security of our forces. The Ambazonian Governing Council, it call on all Ambazonians where they don't be partisan for criticize the liberation tax, for embrace them as the best way forward for fight against excesses, kidnapping for ransom, and other ills that have before our struggle as a result of the wicked black man syndrome. It brings accountability, and that is even the more reason why no genuine force on the ground will want to be without a political leadership. Imagine all the ARF on ground zero have said that they don't want any diaspora leadership. It means that all their diaspora leaders, according to this declaration, have no footing on the ground. They have disowned them all. But you and I, know that that is not even possible. It is not practical. But trust me, it is actually happening. They should open their eyes, and their commander should ask their questions. What are we fighting for? Have we deviated from the main purpose why we pick up arms, which is to attain independence, a political objective? You cannot claim to be fighting for a political objective, and then at the same time you undermine political structures. You like it or not, we are a diverse people. The Ambazonian Governing Council embraces even a stronger IG group, even with our differences, as we continue to push them to abandon their idea of exclusive power and exclusive representation, which is ridiculous and is wrong. Nevertheless, we want that everybody should be responsible, and even the various IG groups should adopt best practices, not just focus on scoring points, as most of them have become oppositions. Be responsible in your criticism. Be responsible in your opposition. Put the Ambazonian flag first. Put the nation first, knowing very well that best practices make our people comfortable and give us the best chance to collaborate for an effective liberation of our homeland. God bless you all. Capo Daniel, signing off.